there were 3 girls in there with their mobile phones right next to their mat. And I'm like, seriously? Like, why do you need your mobile phone next to your mat?
Our forte is teaching excellent yoga classes and kind of building community within the yoga classes.
I have Christian Ralston. Did I say that correctly? Christian Ralston from Rae Studios in Bondi. Rae Studio is a new movement yoga studio in Bondi, which I'm super excited. And today is Yoga Day, so how appropriate that we're having this conversation on Yoga Day. Now, I'm excited to talk to you about this incredible concept that you've come together with Noelle Connolly and Kathleen Santoso. It's your little yoga baby, if we want to call it that. And it's a unique concept to not only Sydney, I think in Australia as well, because just prior to having this conversation, I was talking about how intimidated I feel sometimes going into yoga studios. But yours is a completely different concept and perspective, because you're not only encouraging your students to delve into the practice, but you're also all about connectivity, no phone policy, and really kind of focusing on that mental health and everything we need to create a little bit more balance in our lives. So firstly, thank you for coming to chat to me. And secondly, tell me all about it. Because you've all got such great backgrounds, and I just want to know, how did this concept all come together for the 3 of you?
Noelle and I have been teaching yoga for a really long time.
How long?
I think she's been teaching for about 20 years. I think I've been teaching for about 11.
Wow.
And we've been teaching for other people for a long time, and kind of been in the yoga scene for a long time, and actually heard many times that running a yoga studio is a nightmare.
Oh, really? It seems so zen. Every time I go into a yoga studio, it seems like so chill. And every time it's like, this is such a cool, so it's a nightmare.
I think what we've heard from a management point of view, we just heard, on that point, I think it's not as easy as it looks.
Yeah. That's like many businesses.
You come in and it feels zen, but I think the business element and making sure it runs smoothly and there's people coming is not so zen.
Yeah, I could imagine.
I think we both had inherited some of that, stigma in a way to like owning our own studio.
Yeah.
And both of us had pretty much ruled it out that we're not going to do it. And then just at kind of the middle of last year, we kind of wrote on kind of slightly different tangents, but I was like going to LA and just like looking at other studios and see how they do things. Mm-hmm. And just got inspired by one particular joint in LA that just had just got all the good yoga teachers in LA, mm-hmm. and put them just in one yoga spot. Mm-hmm. And when I went there to do some classes, I just saw it as clear as day that it's actually potentially not that hard. Just get all the excellent yoga teachers in one spot and it will do well.
And that's what really differentiates you, because you've got the creme de la creme of Sydney in your studio. You really do. Like, I've been quietly stalking you and then the studio. I'm like, wow, this is a studio that I think is, and they've all got such diverse techniques as well, because I know some of them are really into that breath work, and then some of them are, into meditation. It's great. It really is. And it's a one-stop for those, even if you're not into yoga. Even if you just want to do some quiet stretching and just kind of really get, centered and what have you, it's good for that too. You offer so many different things. But tell me, you went to LA, and so you see this studio where all these great teachers have come together, and you've had this light bulb moment going, ping, that's what I want to do. That's how it's going to work.
That's right. And then I came back from LA, said, Noelle asked, how'd you go? Because we both kind of talked about me checking out this joint. And she said, how'd you go? How did it look at my night? I said, Noelle, I see what we need to do. And you and I need to open up our own studio. She said, I totally agree.
Oh, bless.
So I thought, yeah, straight away like that. And then, off and running. So then it was like we started looking for a space. And obviously Noelle and I, our forte is teaching excellent yoga classes and kind of building community within the yoga classes. And Kathleen was one of our students, actually.
Okay.
You knew she was quite business savvy, to say the least. So we just, when we were looking for a new space, we just were asking her for just general advice.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. It's so good. It's so...
She was being super helpful. And then another friend just kind of asked, oh, so what's Kathleen's like role in this? And Noelle and I just kind of looked at each other and thought, well, she'd been helping us out quite a lot and she's actually really important. And then there was this talk about, okay, Kathleen,
come on board.
Yeah, come on board. We see your epic value. This business stuff is not our forte. And we really want you to come in and just be an equal partner. And she's really amazing. We're blown away by the kind of thing she can pull off.
Good on her. Good on her.
So well organized and so like big picture.
It's so important to have someone like that in a business.
Yes.
Because I guess, I mean, obviously I've been in business for a long time, but, and you get so engrossed in actually making it happen, finding the perfect studio, what you need to do. And then it's numbers and crunches and all this stuff that you have someone that kind of brings a different element to it that kind of sees the bigger, broader picture and the future of it. It's great. It's actually a good balance.
It's a fantastic balance.
It's 3 pillars. It really, really is. It's the 3 pillars, and you know what? It's the perfect triangle. And the triangle, what is it? It's the most stable thing. It's the most stable structure. There you go.
Yeah, I honestly don't think Noelle and I could have pulled it off without Kathleen. And I really honestly also believe that usually like yoga studio is started by yoga teachers, and their forte again is not business. So I think this is like again a unique circumstance where we have this triangle of 2 great yoga teachers and also an excellent business person in it from the start as well.
Yeah, no, it makes a huge difference. It makes a huge difference. So you found the location. Now you're in Bondi, for those people that are listening to this. Bondi's has gone through a bit of a transition, to say the least. Again, I touched on it before. I was in Sydney not long ago, but I was really hoping to get to Bondi because I'd heard a lot of stuff's going on there in the wellness space. So it's become a real hub. So it's and I know you've also said that it's like the perfect place to open up a studio like this because the people and the demographics now is a lot more wellness conscious, if I can use that terminology. It's all about, and it's great because loads of new little businesses are kind of anchoring off each other there, which is fantastic to see. So what have you seen? Why Bondi? Obviously for the wellness, but what was it about Bondi that you loved the most and that you really wanted to be there? Because I know that was important to you when reading through some of my notes.
It was just that it seems that wellness would appear to be priority number 1 for just a lot of people.
Yeah,
If you go out for a walk at 6 a.m. at Bondi, it's like George Street in the CBD at like 9 a.m. with people going to work. It is like there's so many people out walking, running, doing boot camps on the beach, doing ice baths, people swimming across the bay.
Yeah.
People using the outdoor gym. Like it's just insane how many people are out doing some kind of like wellness, fitness, health thing, something that's going to contribute to their health.
Yeah.
And yeah, we just thought, obviously, we just wanted to be a part of that and kind of, play some important role in kind of helping people do that.
Yeah. And I think yoga, and correct me if I'm wrong, I do love yoga and I've done it for many, many years. But I feel like yoga's probably the one practice that you can either get a really hard, good core workout that really makes your body work, or you can kind of do a more subdued, relaxed, and really kind of balance yourself out. It's the only thing, I must admit, it's the only thing I revert to every single time I'm a bit out of whack. I know there's a few poses that I like to use that it's like, okay, I feel a bit more zen now. And then if I've gone for a run and I just want to do some little bit of strengthening stuff, I can do that through yoga as well. I feel like it's the only practice that you can integrate in whatever sport or thing that you're in, whether you're weightlifting, whether you're an athlete, a professional, there's always something good. My brother does MMA And even sometimes he'll come in, I was like, oh, I'm a bit tight, and we'll do some yoga stretches with him. It's like, oh, that really feels good. That really feels good. Can you come and do a couple of stretches with the boys in class? It is. It's a real integrative practice.
It really is, yeah.
And I feel like with what you just said about Bondi, with all these health conscious people getting out there doing stuff, it sounds like Bondi was in need for you more than any place I can think of, especially even here in Melbourne. I mean, we've got scattered studios everywhere, great studios, but definitely not the weather and the vibe that you have in Bondi.
Sorry, Dolly. Sorry. I've got a little too happy. I have that.
He wants to come and join the podcast too. I watched a reel with a dog doing yoga with its owner. It was like I'm like sitting there going, "Wow, that's so cool," I
think I may have seen something like that. I think So our studio does play a really important role in all these people who are like trying to be health conscious. Because as you said, sometimes there's the slower classes that if people are doing workouts and stuff like that, they might want to come. We do lots of like the kind of more down tempo, slower classes in the evening. So people, one person, for example, who maybe has gone out for a run or just done some more rigorous movement, can come to one of our classes at night and just more chill and drop heart rate and be ready for bed.
Yeah.
There's also the other classes that are way more rigorous, for want of a better term.
Yeah.
It's all, if you are keeping fit in general, there's like such connection between lots of the fitness modalities. And so if someone's generally like keeping healthy, working out, whatnot, they can come to a yoga class and kind of see the connection in some of the moves. Like there's, just for pulling one example, like there's a thing called the yogic squat, which is just basically a squat position.
Yeah.
And it's gone and done a workout and they're doing squats. They see, all right, yeah, here's the bottom of the squat. And then
yeah.
It's called like a yogic squat. It is just a squat.
It's a squat.
It's just a squat.
But it's good because it helps with all that hip mobility and the hip flexors and all of that sort of stuff.
That's right. So if you get into those positions a few times in a yoga class and you are working more on the mobility element rather than the strength, then next time next time you go to the gym and you're looking for some depth in your squat, you'll find it's going to be there.
Yeah. Now tell me, I know it's a no phone policy, and your studio is quite unique in the way you touched on, coming together as a community. And I sense there's almost a little bit of like you want to kind of differentiate yourself from the rest of the yoga market by actually really being a little more focused on what the individual wants to get out of the practice for themselves, regardless whether it's something more intense or less intense, but also developing and creating a community among each other and a support network. And you have a no phone policy, which I love because I don't understand why people need their phone when they're going into a yoga studio. Like, it's insane, isn't it? It is insane. The last yoga studio I went to, I'm not going to call them out because I don't want to, but there were 3 girls in there with their mobile phones right next to their mat. And I'm like, seriously? Like, why do you need your mobile phone next to your mat? Like,
you don't, obviously.
Yeah.
Part of that rule is just like general awareness. Like some people are just like so deep into their phone that they just can't comprehend that it wouldn't be near them for like any time that they're awake.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy.
And, often like sometimes if people are new to class at our studio, they had maybe brought their phone into the room.
Yeah.
And I'll just go and say, hey, sorry, we don't have phones in the room. And I'll just make some kind of joke like, we're trying to like switch off in here.
Yeah.
Actually, when you say that, like they totally get it. Yeah. No one's fighting saying, oh, come on, we'll leave off. People just, once they hear something like that, go, no, you're right. I actually don't want my phone here. It's just like automatic. I've got my phone with me at all times.
Yeah.
A problem that we have. And so, we're just trying to build some awareness around just trying to disconnect from technology for an hour.
Yeah.
While we're in the class. And then yeah, probably just more likely then just to maybe have a look around and then, I'm sitting next to someone. Maybe I might even like say hello to that person who's next to me.
Yeah.
Also, you've been to class, like there's this insane thing that I have seen in many, many classes where people come into a room, a yoga room, put their mat next to someone and just not even like acknowledge the fact that there's another human being right next to them.
Yeah, I've seen that too.
Hello, like, hey, how are you? Like, how is that even a thing to like not at least say hello?
Yeah,
to the people who you're next to like for an hour.
Yeah. Do you know what, Christian? I'm glad you brought that up because it's interesting because, I mean, I started doing yoga when I was pregnant with my second child, which is, how old's George now? He'll be 16. So 16 years ago. And I had an old yoga instructor come out to my house and we'd do like, I was pregnant at the time, so we're doing kind of pregnancy yoga. And then I loved it so much I continued the practice and still do. But when I started going to yoga studios here in Melbourne back then, we weren't as privy to mobile phones and people were more open, and students that had been doing the practice a lot longer than me would kind of be open to correct me and say, "Oh no, just put your foot out a little bit more, just turn your toes in a little bit," or whatever. Whereas nowadays, I feel. Not all studios. There are some amazing studios here in Melbourne as well, but I do feel a sense of disconnect. People just kind of go in, do their practice and leave. There's no hey, or even just an acknowledgement. And I like to chat, clearly. And especially when you go into a new studio and you go on your own, it is a little bit intimidating, and you want to kind of like, is this your first class? You want kind of that kind of bit of a security more than anything. And I feel like Rare is very organically humanized in that sense because you're very much about, making it friendly and not intimidating and cutting out all the BS and just come and enjoy your practice and come chat to us. I feel like that's so important, and I'm glad you're going back to that because that's what yoga studios that I remember 15 years ago used to be like.
Yeah, it's such an excellent thing to have in common.
Yeah,
because you're, as you said, you usually are going to yoga on your own.
Yeah,
maybe sometimes. You're searching for, sometimes people are also looking for something, or they're looking for some kind of like change. And so they're coming into this new thing that can be very intimidating. If they put their mat down next to someone who's been there for a bit, and this person who's been there for a bit is in the habit of saying hello to the people around them, this person already is like feeling more comfortable and safe after like being there for like 30 seconds in this like new journey of like, self-discovery that often happens in the yoga practice. Yeah. And so we're really trying to develop that culture, especially for the people who've been coming already, just to say hello and be friendly, just kind of keep the energy light in the room. I feel like life is already too serious without like people like, really concentrating real hard on their down dogs and, and I'm also a bit of a fan of not being too strict on alignment.
Yeah.
It's like, it doesn't really matter too much. As long as your pose is safe, is obviously a huge priority.
Yeah.
As long as you're feeling your body do something kind of in the roughly the right spots where you want to feel it, you're doing it right. We can later on, if you really want to get deep into it, you can like do a teacher training and then really work on the fine tuning elements. But I'm just a bit of a fan of like getting people in, moving, stretching some of the tight spots that they may have, the common tight spots that they have, and have them walk out feeling good, just like your MMA. Was it your brother?
Yeah.
I honestly feel like there's a feel good in yoga that is like unparalleled in any other movement that you can do. There's a feel in it.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be mentioned. If you stretch and move and you just lift your energy a bit, you walk out elevated with a clearer head.
How important is that especially when you see busy, Sydney people are busy, like maybe Melbourne people are busy, but I think Sydney people are a bit more busier than Melbourne people.
Maybe.
How do you get them to kind of, that deeper meaning behind yoga?
in my classes, again, coming back to this feel good, I invite students in every pose to find their feel good. So again, you're moving, you might move a bit in each pose and try and find where does it feel good.
Yeah.
I think one great thing about yoga is that maybe that's tying to these like people who are busy. Like if you're trying too hard and pushing and forcing, you're pushing the feel good away.
Yeah.
You have to do a little bit less in the poses, which is hard for some people to like. This is not a more push, more gain, which is again so fantastic.
Yeah.
You've got to like it's the feel good is going to be in a space of less.
Yes.
And then if people look, and then some people who, if people are new to yoga, there's some, and I was certainly in this position before I started yoga, feeling good could be like a very foreign concept. That's not alcohol or drug induced or, some other like substance is involved. Like just a natural feel good high could be super foreign. I know it was for me when I first started doing yoga. I had no idea what feeling good felt like.
How did you start? Because you said you've been doing, because you've been doing a DJ, you've had a few different, like you've got a great background.
He's been for a while I've been teaching yoga.
What sort of DJ?
Just depends where I'm playing, but I just love all sorts of music. House music is probably my one true love.
Yes.
I think everyone just looks. Yeah.
Peter's smiling. He's going, we're going to do another podcast.
It's just the general the house music sound constantly evolves. It's like got some tempo to it. It's not too hectic, not too boring. It's just usually like got some general.
It's feel good music. I love house. I love a good house. I love deep house. It's really cool.
So good.
So you went.
It always evolves.
It does. Yeah. So you've obviously being a DJ, touring, playing different venues. How'd you get? Tell me your yoga journey. How'd you get into yoga?
I was always kind of keeping fit and healthy, and I was also playing a lot of rugby league when I was young.
Okay, that's rough.
Yeah, it's very rough. I enjoyed it though at the time.
Yeah.
And one day I just saw an ad for, I think it was $20 for 10 days for a Bikram yoga studio that was near me.
Okay.
And so Bikram is, I don't know if you know about it.
I've done it once.
It's like 38 or 40 degrees. And because I was going to the gym and playing footy and stuff, I was like in this kind of like really kind of period of my life.
Yeah.
Going to the Bikram class where it's so fucking, sorry.
No, that's okay. We're not editing that. We're leaving it. That's all right. I've got a sailor's mouth. It's fine. I'm just very subdued because you're a new guest.
So hot. And it was just such a hectic experience. I actually appreciated how hard it was. Like I just walked out thinking that was actually no joke.
Because it was the right opposite to what you're used to too. Yeah, slow but hot.
It was just so intense. I respected it for that. Like I just thought this is not what I'm used to at all. But I can see that there's something here that is beneficial. And also, because I've been moving around, working out a little bit and whatnot, I was curious to why I was like finding some of these poses which aren't really, when you look at them, that complicated, so hard.
Mm-hmm.
I was kind of thinking, I shouldn't be finding this so difficult. Why is this hard for me? And so that was kind of really my initial motivator to like kind of persevere. I was kind of curious. And because again, Bikram is such a hectic 90 minutes of intensity, almost straight away, I did get a tap into that feel good that I was talking about before. I think it honestly was the first, after doing those early classes and getting out of the room and like cooling down, I just felt the feel good.
Wow.
Offers, and I think that's another reason why I was keeping him.
Oh, there he is. What's his name?
Ollie.
I have an Ellie. Hi, Ollie.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly. So cute. So cute. Oh my God, she's so cute.
The best.
Yeah, we've all got dogs here, and I've got children, and I think I love my dog more. Only slightly.
They're a lot easier.
They are.
So pretty much that was it. It was just like I got tapped into some feel good real early, which was a motivator, and also just me just thinking I shouldn't find some of these poses as difficult as I am. I just knew something was out of whack with my body, that I was finding some of these poses hard. And then, yeah, it's pretty much never look back.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell people sometimes I came from absolutely not in the ground floor, like 5th basement level yoga starting point.
Wow.
Oh, like just so bad.
And now you're an instructor.
Now I'm an instructor. I own a studio.
And you teach yoga teachers as well.
Yes.
Wow. So you fell in love with it. You did Bikram. You've discovered things about your body that I think that's the beauty about yoga too. When you do a pose and that you, like you said, and you kind of look at it from a surface level and go, I should be able to do that lunge. Why can't I get into that lunge? Right.
Pretty much.
You kind of then it makes you think about how we use our bodies and how we use them mechanically, but we're not actually moving them properly, so to speak.
They're so beautifully capable of like such amazing things, and if you don't use those ranges of motion, there's this use it or lose it principle. Some of the poses do ask you to get into some some ranges that maybe unusual in a more of a, I don't know, sedentary life, or even just like a standard kind of gym going kind of life. Even then, when you I can't get up and demonstrate, but like basic stuff like being able to bend over and like do your shoelaces up, for example.
Yeah.
There's a forward fold.
Yeah, that's a forward fold. Yeah.
Squat down and get down in the kitchen and get something out of the bottom cupboard that's right down the back is like a deep lunge or a squat of some sort.
Yeah.
Like these moves are in life.
Yeah, they are. Do you know what? I think once you start doing yoga, it's interesting how you do implement it in your daily thing. Like I know I probably not in everything, but I am a lot more aware of my movement now. I used to be a hairdresser, and when I do my own hair, I'd just flip my hair upside down and dry it. Whereas now I'll go down really, really, really slowly, like the forward roll, and then dry my hair, and then slowly drop my head. And in fact, I was doing it to Peter the other day. I'm like, drop your head, but it's not drop. Just still stiff. Just drop your head. Let it go loose. So we do, and I think that for me personally, and I think for a lot of people that do yoga, and I think what is it? There's millions. How many Australians do it now? I've got it somewhere in my notes. There's like.
I think some Sydney Morning Herald article that was like 5 million people.
5 million people are now doing yoga, which is crazy, right? So good. Yeah, but amazing. But it's amazing. It's great how just understanding how your body moves and understanding not just your joints and what have you, how you can protect them, more importantly, and how you can get the most out of your movement, even in everyday little things that you do. And it might be, like you said, taking something out of the dishwasher, or in my case, drying your hair off. It's really, really important. What's your favorite yoga pose? What's your go-to?
I have quite a few.
I know you like headstands. I've been watching your headstand.
I've got a handstand.
Handstand. I do the headstand. I do the handstand on the wall, and I can do the headstand off the wall.
You actually we do handstands in class all the time, and we have a pretty much a total ban on handstands against the wall.
Oh,
if you come to class,
I'm fucked.
They're just gonna have to experiment without the wall.
Okay.
It's it's a huge. If you are trying to learn the handstand, it's actually a major hindrance in you eventually trying to get there.
Oh, really?
How long have you been doing handstands on the wall for?
It's fear-based. I'm not gonna lie. Can I tell you, when I was young, I was the queen of handstands, and I can still rip out a good cartwheel every now and then. I need a half an hour warm up though. But the handstand, as I've gotten older, I can completely be honest with you. It's completely fear-based, and it's knowing I'm just so worried that I'm going to flip. And I know even if I do flip, I'll be fine. I don't know why. It's the older I get, the more scared I am of I was scared of doing my back. You're probably right. I'm probably scared of doing my back. That's what happens when you get older. Instead of going crack, I've been, I can't move anymore. Yeah.
Flipping over is definitely a super common fear.
Yeah.
If you've got someone who's teaching you properly, you can kind of like get very close to it.
Yeah.
And there's some progressive steps that can be done that can really kind of alleviate a lot of that fear.
Yeah. But what is your go-to?
What's that?
What is your go-to yoga pose?
I think I've got tight hips, so any kind of like lunge is usually good for me. Either arms down, head down, or arms up to stretch the front of the hip.
Yeah.
I think also just because I did come from the ground floor, below ground floor, I do actually have a pretty good read. When tired people come to my class, I have a bit of a good read on how to help them, because I knew I was that person.
You were that person,
and still to some degree, I'm just definitely not a naturally flexible person, and I do work out and do run and like do these other things as well. So I do have a bit of a good read on what it feels like.
Yeah.
And an understanding of what tightness is and what it feels like.
Yeah. You said earlier you went to LA to do a bit of research, obviously, for your own studio. What did you foresee that was fundamentally different that they're doing over there that we're still not doing here in Australia?
To be honest, not much actually. To be honest, Australia honestly is right up there, especially with yoga, and especially I reckon what we're doing at Rare is like, I would say probably best in the world.
Really?
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
Not only we have many teachers who are right at the top of their game, which is rare. Like you might have like one or two. By saying rare, but it is. Rare.
Yeah.
A number of teachers were right at the top of their game who have been in it for a long time.
Yeah.
In a way, who are, I don't know if I want a better word, committed, like in a way, career teachers, like people who are in it and they're not planning anytime soon on like going off and doing something else. And then also, once you get a good group of teachers teaching in a spot, then you get students coming and then they start to get good. And then you have this excellent circle happening where as soon as the students start getting good, then the teacher needs to like step up and improve again to keep the students who are coming in it interested still.
So it's a great form of evolution, isn't it?
It's fantastic. And it's still going. And then I think new people like feel that. And then if new people come and they come to next to someone who's been there a long time, but who is friendly and has no ego about, what they can do. And then the new person's next to someone who's like pretty capable and they go, whoa, that's pretty good. And then this new person's like feeling inspired by what they see around them and just the comfort of the welcoming nature of the yoga room.
I love it.
But I honestly think that we're just really up there with the best of the best.
That's encouraging. It really is, because you see all the stuff coming from overseas, and obviously, you go to one studio, you only know your studio or your local studios that are around you, so you don't really know unless you go overseas and go to the studios like you would, you don't really know what to compare with. But it's great from your perspective, given your experience and the fact that you're an instructor to the instructors and you've got your own studio, you can kind of draw those things and go, hey, you know what, we've got some awesome talent here in Australia, and that's great. It's great for us.
At a couple of times we've had one in particular, like had a guest teacher come from America who was very, very well known, come to the studio that we're all teaching at to do like some workshops and stuff. And obviously the people who are coming, the students who are coming to see this workshop are already doing classes with us and then in the studio. And then the workshop happens and then we get complaints from the students saying that was shit. Basically, that was like, we're used to like something better than that, which was like, it was very humbling for us to like hear that. And it just goes to show you that we really are trying hard. And again, it's the students who come who are giving us this, I don't know,
the energy,
the energy and the push to like always be better.
Yeah. My brother says the same thing about his students, because he's got his own MMA studio, and he's got a range of of beginners, and he's got guys that have been in MMA and doing all sorts of martial arts for years and years, and it's the energy and the push of constantly evolving and coming up with new ways and strategies of teaching new things and new concepts, and he says the same thing. He loves it, and he's very passionate about it, and I believe as a yoga instructor as well, you need to have a level of passion. It's such a pleasure to talk to you, and thank you so much for taking the time out to chat and tell me all about the Rare Studios. If you guys are in Bondi, definitely go and check it out. We'll have all the socials up.